Hello, everybody. Today is Monday, August 31st, and I am about to go over your work for today. Make sure you have everything you need, the sheets, the practice book. I believe that's all. Okay, here we go. Veronica was amazed at how her dog reacted to the campfire. He ran around in circles and whimpered loudly. What does reacted mean? The answer would be to act in response to something. He's responding to the campfire. Synonyms or antonyms. Fumble and drop are synonyms. Crackle and crunch are synonyms. Worried and confident are antonyms. Design and create are synonyms. Nonsense and truth are antonyms. Wildfires are large, dangerous fires that can spread quickly over woodlands. Wildfires need three things to form: fuel, heat source, and oxygen. Firefighters refer to this as the fire triangle. Some examples of fuel are trees, brush, and grass, anything that can burn. The heat source brings the fuel to temperatures hot enough to ignite or catch fire. Some examples of heat sources are campfires, hot winds, and the sun. What are three things that wildfires need to form? And it says right here, wildfires need three things to form: fuel, heat source, and oxygen. So you're looking for fuel, heat source, and oxygen. Even though they rearranged the lettering, that is the correct answer. And the word ignite is right here. Ignite means to catch fire. And then find your math. Should be on the back of your ELA. Janice saw 6 chipmunks on Monday. She saw another 6 chipmunks on Tuesday. She saw 6 more chipmunks on Wednesday. How many chipmunks did she see total? Some of you may say 6 plus 6 plus 6, but remember this is supposed to be multiplication. So I'm going to say 6 times 3, and that will give us 18. It's the same thing as saying 6 plus 6 plus 6, equals 18. And now true or false? 379 is greater than 287. That is true because 300s are greater than 200s. And now count by tens: 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. And then this one is kind of as long as you did it, you got it right. The next thing on there was a narrative nonfiction. Presents factual information in a narrative to make an exciting story. And that is what our genre is this week. You should have read a story today that was a narrative nonfiction. The name of it slips me right now, and I don't have the book here in front of me. Sorry. And then you had your vocabulary list. Study that. You'll have a test on that. And then you had a vocabulary sheet you were supposed to do, but this was supposed to be in your orange workbook. So take out your orange workbook if you haven't already and get page 21 done. It says to use a word from the box to answer each question, then use the word in the sentence. What's another word for afraid? And I like to make it simple. I'm not going to write all these because that would take too long for a video like this. But as long as you use the word scared in your sentence, you got it right. I make it simple by answering the question. Scared is another word for afraid. Number 2, what word can describe a friend who sits next to you at school? Classmate is a word that can describe a friend who sits next to you at school. Classmate is number 2. And again, as long as you used it in a sentence, you got it right. You didn't have to say the same sentence that I said. Number 3, what's another word for give? Contribute is another word for give. Number 4, what helps people get better at doing something? Practicing helps people get better at doing something. Number 5, what means say the sound of? Pronounce means say the sound of. Number 6, what word describes a place where people live and work together? Community describes a place where people live and work together. community. Number 7, what word means thinks well of? Admires means thinks well of. Admires. And number 8, what happens to the fruit when it fell out and rolled on the ground? The fruit tumbled. The fruit tumbled when it fell out and rolled to the ground. And again, as long as you have the right words in those, you can count it correct. The next page in your packet, going back to your packet now, flip from your book to your packet, was this sheet. This was the sheet that Ms. Hester went over with you in the video, so I'm going to skip it. Go rewatch that video if you missed it. And then we have our actual work pages for today. Study the example showing how to use order and grouping to multiply and solve numbers problems 1 through 10. Rama changes the order and the grouping of numbers to make multiplication easier. What are 2 different ways Rama could multiply the 2 numbers shown? And the one way they showed us was 2 times 4 first. That gave us 8. And we keep the 6. So now we're just doing 8 times 6, which is 48. By the way, we're using these 3 tiles if you didn't catch that. Okay. And on this side, we did 6 times 2 first. That gives us 12. We keep the 4. And 4 times 12 is 48. 2 different ways to get the same answer using the same 3 factors. Now it tells our directions say use the numbers on the 3 number cubes to answer problems 1 through 4. So we're using these 3 numbers right here. Order and group the numbers, then multiply to find the product. Well, it says to order them. The order doesn't matter. It says they've got 4, 2, 3. That's what I'm going to write here first. If that's not what you wrote, just hang on. There are many right answers for this one, okay? I'm going to go ahead and group the 2 and the 3 together because I like doing the little numbers first. I like working with little numbers because working with little numbers is easier. And so I think over here to the side, I keep my 4, and then I do what's in parentheses first. 2 times 3 is 6, so I'm thinking 4 times 6. Now to figure that out, I have to skip count by 4s. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 20, nope, 30, 30, nope, that's not right either. Miss Hardy, what did I do wrong? 28, 32, 36, 40. And that's why you shouldn't rush, children, because you make mistakes when you rush. Sorry about that. So to figure out 4 times 6, we count 4 times 1, 4 times 2, 4 times 3, 4 times 4, 4 times 5, 4 times 6. Our answer is 24. And remember, we did 2 times 3 first here. Now we can order and group the numbers in a different way and then multiply to find the product. So it tells us we have to order them and group them in a different way. So let me rearrange the order. I'm going to do least to greatest. 2, 3, 4. Notice I keep the same 3 numbers. I just rearranged them differently. And I can't do 2 times 3 first, so that means I'm going to do 3 times 4 first. All right, here we have to figure out 3 times 4, and that's the same thing as 4 times 3. So let me come over here. There's 4 times 1, 4 times 2, 4 times 3. So that gives us 12. I'm over here in my thinking area, and I have 12, and I'm going to keep the 2 times right there. So now I'm doing 2 times 12. Well, if you learn how to skip count by 2s already, then you could go this high, I bet. And remember, there was a video to watch today. If you haven't watched that video yet, to practice skip counting by 2s, please watch that. All right, so let's count 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24. And we get 24 again. We just got it differently, a different way. And the next one says order the factors the same way you did in problem 2, and now change the grouping with parentheses to solve. So we have to write it the same way that we did right here. Order the factors the same way. 2 times 3 times 4. We have to order it the same way. And then change the grouping with parentheses. So I'm going to move it from 3 to the 4 over here to the 2 times 3, which is going to give us the same thing here, except instead of doing 4 times 6, we're going to end up doing 6 times 4. So let's skip count by 6 4 times and see where we get. I'm going to put it right here. 6 plus 6 is 12. 12 plus 6 is 18. 18 plus 6 is 24. There it goes. 6 times 1, 6 times 2, 6 times 3, 6 times 4. 24 is our answer, and we did it yet another way. In all honesty, you could put any of these in any of these blanks and you're going to get it all right. Just be sure your parentheses are around different spots and that your numbers are in different orders. And you got it. Good job. The last one says, which of these three multiplication sentences do you think is easiest to solve? And explain why you think so. I believe it's easiest to work with little numbers. It's easiest to do little numbers first because they are little. And you have to admit that working with 6 times 4 is a lot easier than working with 12. All right, and then pick that sheet up and turn it over. Look at the top of the very last page. Use the numbers 3, 5, and 2 as factors. Look at some of the ways that factors are ordered and grouped. Fill in the missing numbers. We have to have 3, 5, and 2. Here we have 3, 5, and we're missing 2. Here we have, well, we don't have the 3 on this one, so we're missing the 3, and we have the 5 and the 2. Here we have the 3 and we're missing the 5 and the 2. So now all of them have 3, 5, 2, 3, 5, 2, 3, 5, 2. And notice that when you multiply them, the order does not matter. You're going to get 30 as your product either way. Look at problem 5, what we just did. Multiply the numbers in parentheses first, then fill in the numbers below. Let's do this section as the same. 3 times 5 is what you do first, which is 15. 15 times 2, if we come over to the side, we'll have to actually write that down and add it because multiplication is the same thing as repeated addition. 5 plus 5 is 10, and then we have 30, and that's how we get 30 that way. Let's look in this middle section right here, and we have to do what's in parentheses first. 5 times 2, if you skip count by 2s, 5 times 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, you'll land on 10. So instead of saying 5 times 2, we're going to say 10. And we keep the times 3, and 10 times 3 is 30 because you count 10, 20, 30, and you'll get there. 10, 20. Or it's easy to skip count by 2s and 10s because most people learn that in kindergarten and first grade. All right, and this last section, we do what's in parentheses first. 3 times 2 is in parentheses, so we have same thing as 2 times 3, so there's 2 times 1, 2 times 2, 2 times 3, that's 6 in parentheses. We bring the 5 because that's the same. And the 5 times 6, 5 is another easy one to count by 2. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, and we'll get 30 that way. 5 times 1, 5 times 2, 5 times 3, 5 times 4, 5 times 5, and 5 times 6. Which of the 3 multiplication sentences in problem 5 is easiest to solve, and why do you think so? Again, this is an opinion question, so it doesn't matter. If you like solving 5 times 3 first, because it's easy to multiply big numbers by 2, then write that. If you wrote 5 times 2 first, because it's easier to multiply by 10, then write that. If you wrote 3 and 2 because it's easier to work with the little numbers first, then that's your answer. So that one has 3 different answers. You pick one and write it. Multiply the factors 9, 2, and 2. Choose an order and use parentheses to show one way to find the product. Most people, I would imagine, would do 9 times 2 times 2. And I do like doing the easy way, the little numbers first. So I'll put parentheses here. And this is like saying 9 times 4 because 2 times 2 is 4. And 9 times 4, let me come over here and make myself a cheat sheet. 9 plus 9 is 18, plus 9 is 27, plus 9 is 36. So 9 times 4 is 36. Now this is just one way. You can do it another way. You could write 9 times 2 times 2 and put the 9 times 2 in parentheses and figure out that. Well, 9 times 2 is 18 because we wrote it right there. And 18 times 2, in order to figure that out, we have to write 18 plus 18. 8 and 8 is 16, and that's 3. So we will still get 36. We just got it differently. Pick one and write it down. Now explain why you choose the order and group the factors the way you did in problem 8. Well, I chose this way because multiplying the little numbers first is easier because I like working with little numbers. If you like multiplying by 2, then you can write that over here and say because multiplying by 2 is easy to do. And finally, multiply the factors 4, 2, and 5. Choose an order and use parentheses to show one way to find the product, then show the steps to find the product. So we're doing the same thing we did up here, we just have different factors. 4 times 2 times 5. And you guys know me, I like doing the little ones first. 4 times 2 is 8, so this is like saying 8 times 5. And if you count by 5s, I've got some of them started up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I keep going. There's 5 times 7. Oops. And then there's 5 times 8. So my answer will be 40. And now I've got to rearrange them. I noticed that 2 times 5 is an easy thing to do as well because that gives me 10. And 10 is easy to multiply by. 4 times 10 is also 40. And we know that because we can skip count by 10 4 times. 10, 20, 30, 40. And that's how we get that answer. All right. If you have any questions about this, I know it's getting tricky. By all means, send me some kind of email or communication to ask for help. If you're understanding it, great. There are tutoring sessions going on Monday and Tuesday of this week for math. And I will try to put up some more tutoring sessions next week for math as well. So be sure to check in on your calendar to see when those are. If you are not able to get into your Google Classroom and you need me to call you for a tutoring session, please let me know so I can call you and we can get that done because learning how to multiply is very important. I hope you guys have a great day.